Soon as we step on the mic, man, you notice the difference. Heavenly blessed with the melanin, baby, you know that we winning. No time for the long talk, got 120 on the clock. Wednesday, 8 through 10, all the bad vibes better stop. Cause you gotta come with that energy. Kazual Konvo, baby, come down and just sit with me. Lil' Coco be spitting that remedy. Kazual Konvo, baby, come down and just sit with me. You better take this shit serious. She dropping knowledge on head and it's free for the play. Tap in right now if you curious. We got the ham radio going lit every age. We go from people to family to pilots. Stay with me if you got something to say. You know it's important if we go acknowledge. Speak on the business and get out the way. What you gonna say about my mama? She winning, you rockhead.
But anyway. So boundaries also, okay. Do you have boundaries with your friends?
Yes.
Because it's going to lead me to somewhere else. I'm going to start with that. What's your boundaries with your friends?
With my friends, yes. Boundaries as far as my friends, it's always like with friends, I'm trying to think of a situation or circumstances. So like for myself, it's always, especially like with my stuff, like my personal belongings and stuff, it's like always ask before touching. They know that though. Like they always say they'll say hey Tajah, I'm about to touch your phone, or they'll wait for me to tell them to touch my phone. Like they don't ever just touch stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When it comes down to talking about issues and stuff, they know not to come at me with a raised voice or anything like that. Like they understand have it as a conversation. That's the best way to do it, especially with me. I'm trying to think of more because
that's all.
I'm trying to think. I can't really put me on the spot because I can't really think about it. So I'm trying to think and it's not coming to me. But those are my two main ones really, with my friends.
All right, so I'm gonna start with this.
Oh, and I'm asleep, don't call me.
Don't nobody know until they call you.
I know, but don't call me.
But what I'm saying, what boundaries for me is, a lot of people don't know how to set boundaries because you asked me that first, right?
Uh-huh.
When it comes to boundaries, you got to get to know your do's and don'ts, with yourself. So I think as you grow and maneuver through life, you start to learn what boundaries you don't, what protects you and what protects your peace, right? So for me, if we go start with friends, I think my friends and my family fall into the same realm because I'm a private person. So my thing is respect my space, and my line is if I say I don't want to talk about something, leave it alone until I'm ready to talk about it. Or it could be, my thing was, especially when I started having children, if I say something of what I want and how I raise my kids, respect that. And that also goes for my friends. You don't have certain opinions about anything, because I don't have an opinion when it comes to my friends, and especially when it comes to their children. I listen. If they ask something, but at the end of the day, you make your own decision. That's a boundary line that I create because I don't want nobody crossing it with me. So those are the boundaries that I set. And if they step over a line, I'm gonna tell you back up a little bit. You get what I mean? And I think sometimes that's when friendships start to evolve. Some friends don't know they feel like they're supposed to be included in everything in your life. That's not true. Well, for me, that's not true. It doesn't mean that the friendship ain't there or it's not cool. But I think for healthy friendships, and you get to know your friends, it's kind of like, all right, I'm just not going to say them. This person going to do whatever they going to do, and that's that. But I like to establish those when, okay, that's what you're going to do. All right, fine. Even if I have an opinion all the time, my opinion is not warranted. I like my group of friends because I don't have opinions about their relationships. I don't have opinions about their parenting. I can only make decisions on myself. Not saying that decisions they make may be bad or anything like that, but it's just certain lines I feel like you just don't cross to keep not only the peace, but just the moral compass, because everybody different, even amongst your group of friends. Mm-hmm. Nobody's gonna maneuver two things the same. Right. So the boundaries I set for them is, this is it. Mm-hmm. And we good. Okay. And most of them don't like some of the stuff I do, because I have moments where I shut down. Mm-hmm. My whole thing is, if you really fool me, you know, sometimes I need to get in my own head and think. Mm-hmm. If when I'm ready to talk, I will talk. But sometimes people won't allow those boundaries, and they want to force you to do what they want you to do, because some people just want to tell every fucking thing. I'm not like that. Some things I'm not ready yet. You gotta let people be open to do what they want to do. That's a boundary line of saying, okay, cool. You want to do this, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But if somebody say, I just need some time to myself, I just need this, and the third. If I'm here, I'm cool. Okay, I'm here when you need me. Like, I don't care if you take 25 years. I'm still gonna be your friend. All right, whenever you're ready, but I'm not gonna pressure you to open up. And I think sometimes, even in friendships and all that stuff, sometimes we feel like we're obligated to know certain things, or you should. Mm-hmm. No, it's about the comfort level, the privacy, and where that person is, or whatever. Sometimes you gotta allow people to protect a certain part of themselves, right? No matter what that may be, and people gotta be comfortable. Sometimes people gotta figure shit out. That'd be me. Yeah. Let me figure it out, and then leave me alone. And then some people, I think I respect I think I create boundary lines that's not discussed. Because sometimes when I feel like, okay, I felt like you was going through something, and if I don't bother you, it's because I'm allowing you to process. And then I'm like, yeah, they ain't call me. No, I'm not. You was on some stuff, and you was going through what you was going. Go through that. Right, like I was trying. If I told you, if you need me, I'm here. Because I know when I go through stuff, I don't want to be bothered sometimes. Which I realize that can be a bad thing, but I think also when the time allows, you have those conversations. We always talk about communication and boundaries. Mm-hmm. So part of that comes with the communication. So now I know if I'm gonna shut down, listen, don't ask me no questions. I just need a minute. I'm gonna holler at you. Phone might be on silent a little bit. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, but you can't get mad. Right. You can't get mad when people draw a line. So would you say that your So you said that your mine always turn into you want to think you're going to interrogate me. Because you always think you're going to interrogate me. I didn't ask you not yet. Exactly. And now I got questions. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. So how would you say that your boundaries are different when it comes to business and your friendships? What kind of business we talking? Your business. Like business like what? Like, like you got because you do have a business. Like you have a small business. You talking about the business where I go work for somebody else? The business where I sell my paintings, or the business where I'm doing this? The business. I say like if you're working for somebody else. Oh, like when I go to work. Mm-hmm. So your boundaries with don't talk to me your boundaries with your coworkers. It stays there. I don't look at coworkers. I think people confuse. You can be at a job for 25 years. And people are like, oh, that's my friend. No, y'all been co-workers for that long period of time. Mm-hmm. Now, when you develop a friendship outside of that, it's still a thin line because it's still that work line. Mm-hmm. And some people don't know how to separate. You fucked up on the task right here, and you had to get checked about it and then you want to carry that incident like because I had to correct you on this, and now you mad at me outside of work. Mm-hmm. Some people don't know how to separate it. Right. So my boundary line with them is I leave work at work. Once I walk through them hospital doors, whatever happened here, that's don't bring that outside of here and thinking you got attitude with me. Because I don't have an attitude. If you gave me an attitude because you ain't pull your weight, that's the only thing that make me mad at work. It's lack of common sense and people wanting me to or think oh, I ain't gotta do it because she's going to pick it up. It's not that I pick it up for that. I pick it up because I love what I do, and I'm not going to inconvenience the service that I'm here to provide. So my boundary at work is in the morning, if I don't have a cup in my hand of coffee, do not talk to me.
They already know.
So if I'm quiet, leave me alone. Those are my boundaries. If I'm focused on my task, let me focus. Other than that, leave it professional. My thing is, when it's work related, nothing should be personal. Like, period. Nothing should be personal. Nobody should take anything for granted as far as, oh, well, I think, matter of fact, back up. A lot. It's a thin line when you bring your personal to work, right?
Right.
So I think what complicates it is you can develop a openness with somebody and share it. Don't use that against somebody when it comes to the work. Exactly. That's why they're not performing. Oh, that's the line. That's a boundary line. No, it's not. I don't care what you got going on here. It shouldn't affect here. You gotta. That's a boundary line.
Yes.
And then don't try to interrogate me if I'm not opening up to you about my personal life. I don't know you like that because this is work. I don't have to share intimate details about my life. That's my boundary. Who are you with? Somebody? What's up with patient number? Yeah. What we doing with that? You know, because sometimes people tend to try to cross over. Oh, we've been working together for 15 years. This is my friend. Oh my God, I love it so much. You go, get off of me. I don't even like you.
That's how you see the way I'm looking at you.
That's how they been.
See, I don't fool with people at work, Mom. I'm trying to tell you, I don't. Cause like over the years, like from working, because you gotta think I've been working since what?
I like Brett.
I like Brett too. Like Brett is cool. Like, you know, me and Brett is cool. We be chilling, like we understand each other on another level. But them other people,
who other people?
Them other ones.
What other people? Who you talking about?
Them co-workers of ours.
What they do? Okay, so what's your boundary? You asked me mine. What's yours?
At work. Oh, mine is very much similar, but I feel like I have more.
Oh, you know another boundary I got? If I'm off, don't call me about that.
Yeah,
leave me alone.
That is the one.
Unless it's some real tea. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I live for a good tea. But when it comes to consuming my whole day off of relaxation or vacation, no, I will turn my phone off and I answer.
You're not cool.
That's the boundary that I have.
Oh no, but mine is definitely don't talk to me unless I got coffee. Like just like you said, if you quiet, don't talk to me. Leave me be. I'm cool. I had to let somebody know that this morning. I was like, they're going to charge nurse. She always want to say something. She always got something to say. But yeah, so I had that one. I also, so you know, we work in, well, I work, yeah, you work in it too. We work in healthcare. So my number one thing is, just like you said, don't allow, like, you know, like whatever personal, whatever you got going on to interfere with how we run the clinic. So it's like, whatever you're doing can wait for the patients.
Right.
So it's like, if you think I'm about to sit here and indulge in a conversation with you and I just get up and walk away, then respect that that's a conversation that's over and done with for the moment because we have work to do.
Right.
So I think that's one of my biggest ones. Like, if you just like realize when it's time to work and realizing when it's a time to talk. Yeah, that one. Because I don't like picking up other people's weight. Especially when I don't have to.
Okay.
Honestly, I just don't talk to me unless I talk to you, really, because I don't be wanting to talk.
I think for me, it's like when you start invading people's privacy without the open door.
Maybe I do that. Just don't talk to me.
Not even at work. Okay, so like in general, I'm private. So to a person that's not, you know, you may see somebody that shares everything. I'm not that person.
Mm-hmm.
Some things I feel like are intimate, even in your, like, our friendships, our work relationships, personal relationships. So if I say, I think sometimes some things is private. Like if I share something with you, the boundary is stay right there. Some people will try to invade your space.
Yeah.
And I'm big on my own space. So you ever have somebody that no matter what you say or do, they want to cross that line and just gotta be in your face all the time? Or one, I'm not a clingy and what is it called? I'm not an overly invasive person. Overly invasive people terrify me. Because I feel like you don't know how to leave people alone. And then sometimes it's like, do you even you don't pick up on the signs of leave, I need a minute. Mm-hmm. For instance, if I'm having a bad day, I'm frustrated, don't force me to talk about it. It might not even be nothing I need to talk about. I just might not feel like it today. Which I'm a Gemini. You gonna get something. I don't know what it is at that moment. It depends. But respect my personality, whichever one may appear.
What?
So, for instance, if I don't feel like it, and that personality of my Gemini spirit woke up, that don't want to be bothered.
Right.
And I said I don't want to be bothered. Why you don't want to be bothered? What's wrong? That irritates me to my spirit. But I think for a long time, as I got older, it's kind of like, you know, you start to see like, I really don't like to do this. This really bothers me. This really does this. And I think as I got older, I developed certain pet peeves became real bad. Mm-hmm. So those became boundary lines of annoyance for me. And I think when people don't know when to back off, and if somebody tells you to back off and you don't back off, it's invasive. You're not respecting, you're crossing certain lines. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm just saying, just like, if I change if I say, all right, we're going to go to the store today.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm quick to change my mind. I'd be like,
and then 10 minutes later, I'm like, damn, I don't feel like it. You always respect my respect the fact that I can change my mind. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes people get so consumed in themselves. Yeah. They don't allow you the privilege not the privilege, but the right of yourself to make your decision that this is not what you want to do anymore. Right.
That's a huge one right there. That's like that needs an exclamation point.
You know what my biggest one is? I'm about to piss everybody off. Oh boy. I mentioned it before. I'm private, right?
Yes.
Relationships.
Yes.
Personal, business, all of that. People can't get into your stuff if they're not included in it. You know how everybody want to have an opinion, whether it's about your business, mm-hmm. how you move, who you see, how your relationship go. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't mind your business. Okay. If you're not in this 24/7, back off. Mm-hmm. If I didn't come to you with it, back off. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the line of, okay, let me vent, but you don't have to say nothing. Mm-hmm. So even like with my group of friends, I don't get into their relationship stuff. Yeah. I don't care what you know. I don't even really care to meet. Honestly, because I don't have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. That's on you. Your relationship is your relationship. Mine is mine. But I also think sometimes there's a thin line. If you trying to be too much into my relationship and you gotta see, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, I'm looking at you sideways. Mm-hmm. I probably couldn't even tell you what half of my friends' boyfriends look like unless I see them on a regular basis. It's not for me to know. You gotta deal with them and look at them. It's none of my business. Mm-hmm. And that's my boundary line. Mm-hmm. I don't have to share certain aspects of my relationship. And you don't have an opinion about it. Or my friendships. Or relationships.
You tell them. I don't know your boundaries.
Do you have boundaries in your relationships? I do.
All of them.
What?
Hold on.
Right.
Okay. So what did you just mention? So you said friendships. You talked about friendships. Talk about coworkers.
Relationship. No, that's a major boundary because a lot of times friends sometimes get too personally involved in their friends' relationship. Right. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't believe
because I look at it like this. Soon as something go wrong,
okay, I'm okay.
No, but soon as something go wrong, you vent to your friends, right? If it's going right, you don't usually vent to your friends because you're so concerned in your relationship, you don't even talk to them. I'm just saying. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So you still don't have an opinion. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to like, y'all, my family don't even have a say so or an opinion about my relationship.
Right.
That's a boundary line that I set. I don't care what you like, don't like. You can't say nothing to me about that. Mm-hmm. And some people try to pick and choose what you do. Mm-hmm. How you do it. Mm-hmm. I dislike people for that. I know.
When it comes to like friendships with that kind of stuff, like, I mean, we all just be checking, like, y'all good? Yeah, we good. Y'all good? Yeah, we good. That's all I need to be told. Like,
I think, okay, I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper when it comes to that. Sometimes, we always say it's two sides to the story and then there's a difference, but it's also about growth, right? So your boundaries are your outline of who you are, your do's, what you don't want, what you want to protect and what you want to share, right?
Wait, do that one more time.
Okay, so this is you. Your boundaries are your outline of you. That's your protective guard.
This is my boundaries.
Is you writing it down?
Yes, I've been doing this. Go ahead.
No, I'm so serious. It's like part of your involvement. Okay. So sometimes you can have a person who want to come through this and go into your space. So like this could be a friend, a coworker, or whatever. You ever see some people that want to be so involved and dictate what you should and shouldn't do? Mm-hmm. Whether in your business relationship, sometimes people, when things don't work for some people, they tarnish it and push it onto you. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't give my friends relationship advice for real. Well, whatever makes you happy, friend, do what you do. Mm-hmm. First of all, if something didn't work for me, even with a business, some people say, I went because, when I went through this, or you shouldn't. And sometimes you never know if that person got your best interest at heart or what's going on. Because my thing is, you shouldn't be so invested in what I got going on. Mm-hmm. So, the same way.
A sign or something? Like when somebody's so invested, like that's obsession, ain't it?
No, that's misery. Misery loves company. Yeah, I know that. And sometimes the most miserable people will try to tear you down, your business, your relationships, your friendships, all of that stuff. But some people don't understand boundaries. And you say you established them in the beginning. My thing is sometimes it has to be spoken. I've even had to tell some of my friends, I don't know what to tell you. And they were like, I know what I would do. I can't tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. Now, if you ask my opinion, but at the end of the day, you gotta make that decision because I don't know the ins and outs of everything, whether it's your business or your friendship, your personal relationship or anything. Definitely personal relationships, I don't get into. Because I don't want nobody in mine. Mm-hmm. That's number one.
This one right here. So this one.
Yeah, me time?
The me time.
Oh my God.
That's big for me.
What's your me time?
When I want to be by myself.
So how you put boundaries on that other than putting your phone on do not disturb? Let's talk about that.
My newfound thing.
It could be an emergency. I don't like it.
You're able to get through.
I forced my way through.
No, you don't have
to. And that's
I'm telling you now, there's a feature on iPhones. Hey girl, hey. There is a feature on iPhones where you can choose people that you can still get notifications from. You are on that list for me.
I don't like it.
The do not disturb it for, because I be getting upset because you be calling me and my phone do not disturb, but yet my phone be ringing. I'd be like, why?
Are we really gonna do that?
Like, what's happening here?
I could be at work and not answer my phone. Mom.
Yes, I'm your child. There's a difference. I am your child.
It don't matter. Hey, Michael. She's about to cuss me out. Look, she might. What? They're serious. I don't like that.
No, but seriously, like, cause at one there was a time, right, where I really just needed time for myself, right? Like, it was like severe. I was like, I just need some time for me. So I was like, I'm gonna just back off everybody. I told everybody. Some people reacted like, okay, I'm here if you need me. And then some people were like, what do you even mean?
Did you discuss that you needed my time?
Yeah. It was a beautiful message I sent out. It was like,
oh, I didn't get that.
Yes, you did.
No, you don't. You just be like, man, I just look.
No, I do not. This is a time where I was like, I'm going through a lot right now. I'm having a moment, and I'm gonna be distant.
Can we do a reenactment?
No,
please.
No.
I'm gonna tell you what you're doing.
Because I don't.
I'd be like, hello, lovely daughter. And then you'll be like, my look, please don't do it right now. I just don't feel like just leave me alone. And I'm like, the fuck?
You're gonna give me a heart attack. You be like, hi, lovely daughter. Every time you see me,
you're so precious. That's what I say.
That's why I had this. You are a funny person. Cause you be like, Tay. You be like, you ain't hear me calling you. Calling you.
You answer my phone. But I do, but then when I leave you, see, this is the thing. I think that you have to also, blurred lines are important. You have blurred lines sometimes because you'll be like, I don't want to be bothered by that. I'm like, all right, I'll leave you alone. When I respect the boundaries, you like, mine, no, okay. Okay. Like,
you don't still mess with me, even though you can obviously see.
But then
I don't want to be bothered, and you will straight be like, TT. I'll be like, what do you want? And then he goes, I just want to talk to you.
You're my friend.
And the next thing you know, as soon as I be like, Mom, I'm just not in the mood right now. You like, so she always got attitude.
And then when I catch on, and then I leave you there, the soap in your stuff, and you'll be like, that's what you're talking about. You ain't never listening.
No, because I be trying to talk to you. See, respect my boundary of changing my mind. You see that? You see how I use this? I change my mind. Now I want to talk.
That's not for convenience. It's not for convenience.
Gotta respect the boundary. I changed my mind. Now I'm ready to talk.
Okay. Speaking of that, which brings us to the next topic. Regroup in the midst of a negative situation, which you're doing right now. Boundaries. So my thing is, if I'm arguing with somebody, or if I'm not even going to say that. If we're having a disagreement, not saying you, because we don't disagree. Mm-hmm. I just don't pay you no mind.
No, exactly.
So if I'm in disagreement with someone and I be quiet, don't be like, oh, you ain't got nothing to say? No, I don't. That's me regrouping. And if I say, can we revisit this conversation? You don't let me revisit the conversation. You just completely ignored the boundary that I need to get myself together. And I think sometimes, especially in the midst of a bad situation, or it could be anything, and you just like, I need a second to think. And then something, and people
that's a big one for me. Like the regrouping in the midst of like a negative situation, or like, you know what I mean? Like
that's when I blow up.
No, that for me, because that causes a lot of anxiety for me. So for me, it's like I need a second to just get myself together. I have a bad attitude. And I'm like, my attitude probably was already up there, but I mean, like,
no, I have a bad attitude.
My anxiety's gonna kick in.
My thing is, if the situation is turning negative, and I see it's turning negative, and I say, okay, all right, let me just, and I'm quiet, let me be. If I say I don't want to talk about it right now, let me be. Because then when I get the Tasmanian devil, I'm the wrong person. Oh, she crazy. No, I told you, back off. That's when I think that's a boundary line that gets crossed a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes some people will try to push the limit of your boundary line to get you upset, to see you upset. But then when you get upset, they don't like the upset. And it's like, I told you, leave me alone.
I know. See,
so I feel like we should normalize leaving people alone. I've dealt with a lot of people like that, and then I had to cuss their ass out.
You know, they just laugh at me. Like when they see me getting mad at the situation, they just laugh.
Did you just want me? Rich,
what is happening?
You got Rich not respecting my boundaries right now. He not respecting my boundaries. But oh, it wasn't for you. Oh, okay. It was for them. Yeah,
exactly.
They gotta respect the boundaries. But I think also sometimes when it comes to, you know, I have a lot of friends. We all got different things, different businesses, meeting different people in business. Mm-hmm. I just want to go back to that one really quick. Mm-hmm. What's my time? So I feel like when it comes to business, you definitely can't tell somebody how to run their business if it's not in your lane. Mm-hmm. Or who to do business with. And I feel like if I ask you a question, if you can't answer it, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's a certain level of friends in business mm-hmm. that shouldn't be mixed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a boundary line. I think there's a line of support. I think there's a line of expectation, especially in your friend. I try to support everybody.
Right.
But I think some people tend to pick and choose the convenience line for them.
Yeah.
So, for instance, let's say you hate a business, I hate a business. So your boundaries are don't cross over here, I won't cross over there into your lane. Mm-hmm. But you want to cross over into the lane when it's convenient for you. No, leave that line up. Because now that's how I'm protecting myself. Or if I want to make a decision, you can't say that's, we can have a conversation, mm-hmm. but you can't tell me how to conduct it if something didn't work for you. Mm-hmm. But then I also think,
wait, you lost me. Say that last part one more time.
So if you had a business, I can't tell you how to conduct your business, right?
Right. So you're not in business with this person. Y'all both have two separate businesses.
Right.
Go.
So the boundary line with my friends is they do their business how they do, I do how I do.
Right.
So, but when I'm outside looking in on some other situations, I'm saying certain lines cross where people, or what you should have done was do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, okay, well, this is what works for me.
Right.
I can't tell you about your lane. Mm-hmm. the same way, even when it comes to support.
Right.
There are still certain boundaries of how people support their friends, family, and other people. Okay. So if that's the boundary line that you create, right, of support. So let's say you say, support me by doing X, Y, and Z, right? That's over here. I may say, okay, I can do X, Y, and Z, but not this, right? That's the line that you've established. I'm going to do up to this. So that's why the expectation shouldn't be more, right?
Right.
However, I've seen in some situations, Rich, I know you about to type on this one, whereas though some people will have a boundary of how they support you, but it's an unlimited boundary of how you can support them.
Right.
So my line is, I'm an equal opportunity and support.
Exactly.
I support how you support me. And that's even in a friendship. I'm going to always support.
Exactly.
But my thing is, don't expect everything for me to be, oh, I know, I know Coco gonna do this, that, and the third. And they had that expectation. No, because I have a right to change my mind and set my boundaries moving forward. Because sometimes my thing is, I look at it like this. When we mention business.
Yeah.
And even I was talking about this with Rich, I was talking about it with you and everybody else. Support is support. You never know, just a little bit of something can go a long way when you support your friends and business and even respecting boundaries. But if you're not willing to support the same way equally, how is that equal support?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So now we definitely got to establish boundaries. Because sometimes you can say, all right, like let's just say you had a dress line or a t-shirt line. And you say, Ma, okay, wear this shirt, do this, do that, do this, then the third. So let's say 10,000 people seeing this shirt. That's 10,000 people your product reach, right? Let's say you might have 500 people on your Instagram, but you never share my stuff. Because that's your boundary.
Right.
Is it equal? So do I have a right to change my mind and say I'm not going to wear the shirt, but I might share it?
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Is that the same or should you be mad? But you see some people in friendships over that. Some people will create a boundary line of how they support you, but people want you to do good, but never better than them. That's true. And it'll be crazy. Like people will see that they can capitalize off of you, but when you create a boundary, like, okay, I know I have to draw a line. You get what I mean? Because now it's like you borderline losing me. So Jude said, I think it's generational. The kids get it and build off of each other, but the generation before them are stuck. Wait a minute, I hate to do that. Wait a minute. Are stuck and can't work together without hating, etc. On the other hand, the person gets the support, need to know how to receive and accept the report. That's true. However, but that's absolutely, I agree 100%.
But I like that she brought up the newer generation know how to do that.
We're not going to do that. Some of y'all hate us too.
No, but
I'm talking about, I'm just saying,
personally.
I get it. But but when we bring the boundary line of change your minds, right?
Yeah. So
since that was Jude, let's say I wore all Jude stuff. And let's just say hypothetically, Jude got a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of new clientele. Just hypothetically, don't call in and cuss me out. Okay? So this is hypothetically. I wore all her bracelets, her shirts, posted pillows, paintings, everything. I just planted them all over everywhere. And I said, Rich, do a commercial, just put all juice because I want to support my friend. And my friend, like, I'm gonna support you. She watch every show. She might call in every show. She might even buy a painting.
But she'll never share.
But never share. And she can have 10,000 followers and she see I'm trying to get my stuff up.
Right.
Is that and then I might change my mind and say, damn, she done took my little 10,000 people.
Like, you know what, when Rich don't even do the advertisement because ain't nobody got time for that. She don't even deserve it.
No, but I'm just saying, and that's creating a boundary, because some people can say, I'm going to only do but this much. But I want you to do this. I might just do all of this because that's who I am. Mm-hmm. But I have a right to change my mind and create a boundary. Like, oh, okay, well, the boundary is I'm gonna respect your line right here, but respect the fact that I'm not gonna give you all of this. Right. Some people can't respect that. Mm-hmm. That's a boundary that you can create. You have a right to change your mind and protect yourself and protect everything. That's just business. Mm-hmm. And business, what I'm learning is it all circles back, and then you bounce off of everything, bounce off of each other. Mm-hmm. You get what I mean? So I don't care if you got 5 people and I got 10,000. If you can help me out with your 5, that's 5 extra people.
And that 5 can reach out to 5 more.
Period. So I mean, that's just how I look at it. We gotta learn from the kids. Yeah. To a degree. To a degree. Yes. Some of the kids ain't got it though, Jude. You said we gotta learn from the kids. I think some of the kids got it when it comes to marketing. It's definitely they can market the hell out of everything. And I think that's where the new generation, the boundary line is, but where we create a boundary that we're not going to overstep as older people because we don't want to look crazy. But I'm gonna do a TikTok.
I gotta be in the TikTok.
Yep.
Like facing
we
off?
Creating boundaries.
Like facing off?
Mm-hmm.
Can I be like,
No, there's no boundaries.
What? Mm-hmm. What? Yeah. I thought somebody ain't no boundaries. When we talk about boundaries, boundaries are everywhere. Everywhere you go, boundary.
I'm creating a boundary right now that you can't say no. So this is a good one. Spiritual boundaries.
I like that one.
I know I just jumped the gun.
No, I've been looking at that one for a minute.
Spiritual boundaries.
Yeah.
How much time I got? Look at look at Rich. Okay, I'm gonna start it. So, have you ever, whether it's been a friendship, work, because we work in a diverse culture.
Yes, we do.
Or relationship, that was somebody. Me, I can talk about this, but I'm gonna let you go. When it comes to people not respecting your spirituality or judging you or not respecting, okay. For instance, you may see some people say, I agree with this, but don't agree with that because of their culture. Or their spiritual belief. And they don't respect your boundaries on your spiritual belief. I run into that a lot, but I'm gonna let you go first.
I mean, I feel like the people that surround me, they don't cross any spiritual boundaries with me. I feel like I've encountered people that haven't respected my spiritual boundaries or have judged me because of what I believe in my faith.
No, that's gum. What did you say? I
said I've been. So like, I feel like the people that I keep around me, like they don't judge me or anything like that when it comes to my spirituality. But I feel like people that like, you know how like a stranger may start talking to you out of the random, and you know how those conversations can pretty much go anywhere. But like I feel like it's those people that I usually, the boundaries get crossed, and I have to just end the whole conversation.
My thing is with my meditation. I see where you're coming from. You ever see you like, okay, I gotta meditate, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Why are you doing that, girl? Just go ahead and if you don't get your demonic, get away from me. That's when I go there, because it's kind of like when you start to do things for your spiritual health, right? Or your spiritual well-being, no matter what it may be. And then that's when the judgment and all of that stuff come from. And you see some people that say they won't touch like conversations of spirituality, religion, things like that, right? I get it. And it's because they don't want to cross a line. And that's a boundary that they set for themselves, because sometimes if somebody say the wrong thing about their belief, which is touchy, but it's also funny because I've dealt with people who spiritually were different from me. And they're like, well, you sure could, and they want to listen. I'm not saying nothing about what you got going on or all of that. And then when you start to get into the debate of the why, or, this is and the third, and where you coming from, and you start to stump them up on certain things, then you're wrong. But it's kind of like, don't cross over here, and then it becomes insulting. My thing is, don't insult me, and I won't insult you. I'm not going to say I'm religious. I'm just not for organized religion, but I'm very spiritual.
Right. I didn't realize how much me and like my friend group didn't talk about like religion or spirituality until I started my spiritual journey.
Okay.
Like once I got on like my spiritual journey and I started like, just doing stuff like meditating, and then like I realized different things about my friends that I never knew before. Like one of them is really big into spirituality and is into like, the whole like universe and like crystals and stuff like that. Like, and once I started really actually talking about my journey and how it was impacting me, that's when me and her, we actually we connected more on a different level. That's how much I didn't know. Like we didn't really talk much before. I'm like, ooh, we did not notice about each other until now. And so, but it's actually grown most of my friendships. I even realized one friend, like they were conflicted on their religion. And and then when we talked about it, they realized like I understood the entire time where they were coming from, where at one point they thought I would judge them.
Okay, so how did you create that boundary of what you would or would not discuss?
I think honestly, your show.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, your show. Because like you start off your show, we talk about things that people don't really talk about, type stuff. So like, like me and my friends would really sit there and just be like people really don't talk about certain stuff, and then we'll start talking, and then like we'll be like, well, in that situation, like don't do this, cause I'm just like, now.
Well, they be learning what not to be from me.
No. Anybody said that.
Right, that's true. I mean, I don't mind as long as you learn something.
We learned what not to do when it comes to each other.
Okay.
Because because then we're like, we need to talk more about all this extra stuff that we usually don't talk about. Like, there's a lot of things like me and my friends really didn't know about each other until like we really just actually started like, I wouldn't even say listening, but just more so like talk about deeper things.
Open dialogue.
Yes. There we go. That's what it was.
I'm gonna start with this. I don't know what's gonna go into my break time. Communication and boundaries go hand in hand, and I know the second half I'm gonna go more into that part, and I'm gonna probably tell a little story that's gonna make a lot of sense as to why I'm definitely the way that I am when it comes to establishing boundaries in every aspect of my life. Even with that, when it comes to like your spirituality, even like sexual boundaries, because we've had shows about sex, orientations of sex, relationships, all of those things, or a lot of stuff tied into the boundaries of what you're willing and what you're not willing to do.
Right.
What you're willing to share, not willing to share, what you're willing to allow and not allow. So my boundaries are what I'm not going to allow a person to do to me.
Right.
And that's a protective, boundaries are more so to me, for me, it's like a protective mechanism of myself. And then even when you meet people with trust issues, they have set boundaries.
Right.
Any type of thing, it could be, some people look at them positive or negatives, but you can't say it's negative because you don't know why that person had them. So I think the second half, I want to go more into that. We're going to also touch on sexual boundaries. I got some of those. You don't have to. I mean, it ain't like that. I don't want to know all of that. I'm not going to talk about that. It's going to be real like G rated. I don't want to know.
Keep it big rated infant.
Yeah,
so that Coco Melon.
Who is she?
Coco Melon was trending, mother.
Trending on what? I gotta get that into.
No, you don't even have to get on Twitter to know what Coco Melon is.
What they did.
So Coco Melon is a show that kids, babies love. Della loves Coco Melon. Like she used to love. She just said Mickey Mouse all the time. Right, but no, she used to love Coco Melon. Her and TT Baby was just sitting there one day watching Coco Melon singing. It's just a bunch of songs. Little Joe, what's his name? Little JoJo.
I'm creating a boundary right there. So when we come back from the break, I'm gonna go into that because I think it's important because part of the communication, and you brought it up, but we didn't really go into it, is part of communicating is how you establish your boundaries, especially with different people in your life. Mm-hmm. My major boundary that I had to do was when I had children. Mm-hmm. And people trying to intervene in my parenting. And I think that's a big line that people cross, and the intentions may be good, but sometimes you cross the line with, so you're overshadowing what I'm saying and how I want to parent my children. Mm-hmm. And it caused I went through a lot of stuff, but in the end, they had to respect my decision on the boundaries that I set for how I parent, what I wanted for my kids, and that no matter what you wanted to do, I gotta raise this. You get me? You gotta respect it. You can give me some advice. You can give me some only if I ask you for it. Yeah. But if I say something, respect it. I would have people be like for instance, older people wanted to part her hair. I ain't want no part in his hair. And that deep part that came all the way back. You know, Della got this one grandmother, right? I will always tell her, don't give Della no soda. Right? Or, Della has to go to sleep. Hmm. Or Della can't have that right now. And, she'll be like, it's okay. She can have that. Oh, and she can do that. And I would be like, where is the respect? Where was you? Talking to you. Was you there? Yes. You gotta respect the boundaries of a grandmother too. No, the grandmothers. We need to can we have a show about that? The grandmother need to respect the boundaries of the mother. Cause she respects the boundaries. Who? Tabby. No, she don't. No, she do not. Yeah, Tabby will be like, I don't care what you say. I'm gonna do that. That's my grandbaby. She be giving Della spray on the side. I be watching. Yes, and that's fine. She be like, I'll be like, no, she can't. I just thought that I don't say nothing. She'd be like, okay. And then she say something later after she drank it. It's fine. No, she will come to me with the cup or the bottle or the can, whatever y'all decided to give her that day. I ain't giving a whole can. I might give a whole cup. Rich, what time? You ready to go to commercial? She is playing in my face at this point. But before we go to break, let me say the boundaries with parenting and grandparenting is different. We ain't got to deal with it. You do. I see why grandparents love to get their grandkids. You had the most fun. And then you watch your child, the one that put you through all the bull crap, go through it. We get them lit and they go back and drive y'all crazy. Fun. Go ahead, you can get her lit and guess what she's saying? That's fine. You. And that's fine. You. Why? She's gonna stay with you. So we're gonna talk about the communication part. Can I tell a story when I come back? What story you finna tell? One that's probably gonna get me in trouble. Is it recent or non-recent? Oh, it's very recent. Of why I'm very big on boundaries. A little aggressive just now. It's very Rich. Can I do one? We're gonna be back after the break. Welcome back to the Kazual Konvo show. With me, Coco, and my beautiful co-host, Tajah. We ain't never ready.
What to do?
Did you pull the sign?
I do this every show.
Oh, I ain't never catch it. That's not gang.
You've never noticed that? You'll never.
So we talked about boundaries, the light version. So we gonna talk about I did. She probably did. She snort. Did you snort?
I probably did because I snort when I laugh.
Okay. So Rich, Jude said hello. We're not gonna send her anything to call in because she's gonna be a hot mess.
I think we should. He said, "What's up?"
Rich said hello.
He said, "What's up?"
So we talked about boundaries. We went a little bit into like did we do with sexual boundaries?
We said, okay, let me get rating Coco Melon.
I don't even know who she is.
It's not a she. It's
what is it?
I gotta show you. I'm gonna have to show you after
Is that the mouse?
I'm gonna have to show you after the show. She's stressing me out.
Did you get frustrated?
Yes.
Create a boundary.
That's why I said I'm gonna show you after the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you after the show.
So let's talk about communication and boundaries. How do you communicate your boundaries, Tajah?
Say it, you know.
What do you say? All right. Okay. So for instance, if I say something, so if you're just meeting me and we're getting, cool, how do you create boundaries with me? How do you start a conversation?
I feel like when you meet people, right, you establishing some type of relationship with them, whether it's a friendship.
Pause. So what? She said Coco Melon is a fruit. Is that the one that they use to do vegan food?
Jude, we gonna figure this out.
That's what they use for vegan food?
I'm setting a boundary. Let me help y'all. This the line. Well, she's gonna have to imagine it for right now. This the line.
Okay, I'm sorry. So
we're gonna talk about it after the show.
So how do you establish the boundary?
I feel like when you establish a relationship, whether it's an actual relationship, friendship, whatever, over time, you'll have conversations or things will happen where you're like, oh, if somebody did something like that to me, I would react this way. You know what I mean? Or I would rather it be handled in this manner.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the only time we sit there and be like, okay, well, what is it that you pretty much what boundaries do you want me to respect? Is only mainly during the talking stage of if you're talking to wanting to deal with somebody. But I feel like majority of the time.
Speaking of dealing with somebody, you opened it right up to where I wanted to go.
Oh Lord.
I know G watching, so I know she gonna comment. So communication. If I say, can I tell a story?
Go ahead. You said you're just gonna tell a story.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
How much detail do you want?
How much detail are you willing to give? Go ahead. I'm all ears today. I'm here.
Previously,
on the episode of
a little while ago, right?
Okay.
I do have boundaries, and I've realized, okay, you know how I always say life lessons and things like that. Life teaches you the do's and don'ts. Mm-hmm. So part of establishing boundaries is learning yourself, which we're going to talk more about. And I think sometimes when we say the right to change your mind, that goes into with growth, you learn your do's and don'ts. I know personally, when it comes to my relationships and my friendships, I don't need outside opinion. Mm-hmm. I even have boundaries with like my family when it comes to my relationships. Y'all don't have an opinion. I don't know why your lips hurts.
I know you lying. Because all the ones that we ain't last.
It wasn't because of y'all. It's because they were stupid. I just learned that certain things, especially not you. You don't like nobody because you want me all to yourself.
Who said that?
However, when it comes to my youngest baby, Jaden from dating when he was little, he got a good little thing. He'd be like, I'd be like, Jaden, what you think? He'd be like, yo, ain't right. Bet. Now, recently, as I got older, I tried to be like, nah, he getting older, so his little gift might not be there. So, what I've learned is.
So what you trying to say?
What's
that? So that's Jaden. That's me.
What's the greater than sign?
Because what you trying to say? I don't like nobody. That's not the
You
problem.
don't like nobody.
But all the ones I didn't like didn't last.
Oh, that was for other reasons that's unknown to you.
But that's not the point. I knew they wasn't finna last. That's the conversation, but you're gonna have to interview me.
Okay, getting back to the situation of boundaries. So when I talk about boundaries, not too long ago, not way yonder, but a little bit yonder. Recently, what I've learned in my growth and communication is if I communicate with someone and I say I'm a private person, I don't like everybody in my business, this is that and the third. I expect for the person I'm getting to know to respect that, right? What I've learned through my journey of life is I can't deal with somebody who likes to share every aspect of our relationship, and that includes friendships. Because even in friendships, you start to develop and see how your friends are, right? I feel like even in friendships and relationships, certain things are sacred. There are moments that are sacred. There are certain things that are sacred. If you gotta talk about every little thing that we do or I say to you, I don't really want to deal with you, for real. So, Rich, can I tell a story? I got story time. Can you type it? Because Rich said, yep, exactly like that. Okay, so let me tell y'all a little bit ago. You know, you talked to. No, I'm not gonna say that. It was a while. It was a long time ago. Not currently. Currently, I'm good. So,
I'm listening.
A while back, right? When dealing with somebody, I learned that you know how you try to give people a try and step outside your box and all of those good things.
Right.
So, and you know how you do your list of what you do and don't want in people. And you know, okay, I want this dynamic, I want that dynamic. So, and when we go back and I said I have boundaries with my family, and you know this, because I will get on y'all when y'all cross lines. I get on anybody when everybody knows, don't say nothing to her about X, Y, and Z, because she gonna go off and then you gonna see that other person.
Right.
True. Mind your business. I told you that's the boundary line, right?
Right.
I know I can't deal with people who can't make self-decisions. I know I can't deal with people who have to have everybody in their relationship.
Right.
Right? So me, I'm the type of person, if I deal with you, I deal with you. I don't deal with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 55. Right? So, long story short, I ain't gonna go into the whole story because I know Rich gonna be like, gonna do a countdown. So, if I'm out, okay, you're not my child. You let's say we're dating, right? And you go into you pay. I'm the woman. You're the man. Role play. So we're dating, and you tell your friends everything. She called and woke me up this morning. She did this. She did that. Oh, we going here. but then you add yeast to the stuff and everything. So then it becomes an issue. And I'm like, well, why would you say that? So down to the point of, if I do something for you, you gotta broadcast it. That's a problem for me, because to me, that's an intimate moment. I don't need everybody to know every little thing I do for you. And I'm not that type of person where, as though if I'm with somebody, I gotta broadcast everything. Certain things I feel like are what's the word? Sentimental in a relationship. Certain things are between you and your person, right? It's not between you, your person, and the whole world. Everybody don't need to know everything. So what I've learned is I can't deal with people that don't have their own mind, or you gotta go back and ask, and then I gotta hear what somebody else gotta say.
Right.
That's a boundary for me. And if I say, well, can you not share that? And you continuously share, you've crossed my boundary line. So for me, in the beginning, what I've learned is to communicate that I'm a private person. How much do you share? That's the first conversation that I had. How much you talk? What you be talking about? If I send you dinner, you gotta tell everybody? Do I gotta meet everybody? Do I gotta be put in situations with everybody? Or if we have a conversation, do you need confirmation from somebody else? That's a boundary for me. And that's also a don't for me. Of communication.
How many people go and
how many
people gonna be there for real?
Everybody.
I don't think he caught his joke.
What did he say?
In my future voice. You ain't never heard about that?
No, what?
How many?
I don't need that many. I don't want to be future. I just want to be one.
There's so many things to show you.
Yeah, because I'm feeling a little sidetracked in the situation. So I say that to say this. When it comes to communication, I think, and I even get on people's nerves. Even in my current little thing, it's like I like to talk about boundaries, the changes of boundaries, if they change. Because sometimes when you meet people, you may have an open set of boundaries, right? As you get to know the person, they may come a little tighter because you're getting to know them a little bit more, right? So my whole thing is, if you don't respect my privacy boundaries of certain things in a relationship are private, I can't deal with that. And you can't make me deal with that. So I feel like, don't take my choice away. If this is who you are, say that in the beginning. Don't let me find out later down the line, and then I gotta date 30,000 people, including you. Because now I feel like I'm trying to satisfy 15 people. So, and it's only you, and then half the time you be lying.
So question. So what do you do when your boundaries are crossed?
Oh, I cut everything off.
You just immediately cut off?
Yeah, I do.
No conversation?
You saw it.
But I'm just saying, like, there's never a conversation for you.
Who?
It's just an automatic cut off.
I told you what they was.
I know that situation.
I
know.
No, period.
That was an immediate cut off.
Period.
But I'm saying, so don't matter who.
Period.
Even with your friends.
Period.
They get cut. Cross the
boundary.
How many
friends I got now?
But I'm just saying.
No, seriously.
How many? No, you're that
from
been friends
from me from me a couple, but to now. How many I got?
I wouldn't say that. I say depending on who it is. I feel like you allow a chance for certain people when it comes to your boundaries.
I might allow a chance, but I minimize the space.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I said. That's why I was asking, like, so what do you do when boundaries are crossed? Which, like, so because I know with certain people, like you'll have a conversation, but then you'll even say, like, I just know how I'll move from here on out. Like, because
people don't be open to the conversation. And then some people are not open to be open-minded. And I think that's also, we always talk about understanding who you're dealing with. Even when it comes to your boundaries, some people don't give two shits about what your boundary lines are. All they know is, this is what I want. This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm not that type of person. I'm a respectful type of person, but I'm also a private type of person. I don't need you know,
right.
I feel like certain things should be that, because when you have outside influences penetrating boundary lines that you set, it's conflicted.
Right.
It brings unnecessary drama. It's unwanted. I don't want that.
I think we need to bring up how people have to respect the fact that boundaries can also change as a person grows.
Yes.
So
and mine's have.
Yeah. So as you grow, you'll either have more boundaries or some of your boundaries will change. I think that just need to be
Can I
like
speak to an older person? As older than you, I'm gonna say my boundaries at 19 through 25 are not the same now. Only because, yes, with growth, experience, and certain things. What I will say is, with changing ways, so when I was younger, I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. I didn't want to. I would worry about what people thought, or I would worry about their boundaries and whereas now I don't give two shits. It's kind of like, this is what I need to do for my peace. And we always talk about finding peace. I think Nikki brought it up about how do you know about Zen. Let me tell you something. When you go from trying to live your life for other people, worrying about being accepted, until when you worrying about, and then when you get to self-acceptance, it's a different set of boundaries that you have. Exactly. Nobody is going to get me to the point that I got to, that I worked so hard not to be belligerent and ignorant. You get what I mean? If you take me to a point of ignorance where I got to step outside of my character, of my peaceful self, you're completely cut off. I don't do that. Right. You get what I'm saying? My whole thing, and especially if it's not warranted, and it's because you're allowing other people to cross boundaries that you wouldn't cross for them. You get what I'm saying? Right. Now I got to deal with all this stuff. I know what I'm not going to deal with, and I don't. Those are my boundaries, and that's why when people say, when you start to create boundaries, you start to lose, your circle gets smaller. Only because you're not going to, people who don't respect your boundaries, they start to fall the fuck off. And I let them. I'm very respectful of people's space. If this is your expectations of me, I've even had people that be like, sometimes my boundaries be real solid, and I didn't think that, okay, it's affecting other people. I'm not that closed-minded or that selfish, whereas though I'm like, okay, that's fucked up. Now I need to reevaluate myself. Part of setting boundaries is self-evaluation. Right. You gotta understand, and you have to see some people and you be like, what you do? And they be like, nothing. It's always the other person. Because they haven't accepted what's wrong with them or the flaws that they have. I know my flaws. I'm fucked up a little bit. So it's kind of like, but I know where my imperfections are or where my flaws are, and I accept them. So my thing is, when you meet a person who think they perfect, nobody's freaking perfect. Part of understanding and setting boundaries of the outline of yourself and your space and your peace and everything that you have is to understand where you're wrong and where you can go wrong. I'm very upfront about where I can go wrong, where I'm not right, where certain things I need to work on. Right. My mouth. I don't like to get upset because my anger is the problem. Yeah. But you have people that will push you to be angry. Then when you get angry, they want to play victim. Don't play victim when you push me to the point. But now you got to deal with her because she's still going to be like that indefinitely with you. That's that Gemini that you had come out. That's the personality that you wanted, so you got her. And they're going to deal with her indefinitely. Because once she turned on with you, she going to be with you. I might be nice to you, but with you, what the problem is.
I like that you said self-evaluate. You see, I wrote that down.
Yeah, self-evaluation is key to growth, insight, and boundaries. That's how you create the outline for yourself. You can't create boundaries unless you know, like, I know I don't want to be upset. So I know for a fact I can't deal with people who allow outside influences to influence us, right?
I feel like boundaries all time. I wouldn't say all tie down to, but I would say boundaries, like they kind of coincide with having some self-respect, because you have to respect yourself enough to have those boundaries.
You do.
You have to respect yourself enough to understand your flaws, your feelings, and like, you know, the whole nine before you even say like, this is what I accept, what I don't accept, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, stuff like that. So, and especially and then also to communicate those. You have, like, self-respect comes with self-love, comes with confidence. So you have to have all of that just to even communicate those boundaries, especially in an effective way for people to take and be like, okay, well, that's what it is.
But you also have to have a mind to think for yourself. That's number one. In order to create boundaries, you have to have the mindset to be able to critically think for yourself. Mm-hmm. And to effectively think, decision make, and all of those things. If you need other people to make decisions for you, it's no way you can set boundaries. How? If you need me to be yeah, yes, no, and in between, how can you create a boundary? That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Like at all. So when we say self-evaluation, we got to understand our thought process. That comes up a lot too in different shows. It's the thought process. Mm-hmm. No matter what your thought process is, that's what your boundaries are going to be, which may differ from other people. Your boundaries, I may not agree with, but it equates to you, not to me. Right. Even when people who we want to engage with indefinitely throughout different points of our life, that's our thought process, and they should be conducive and empowering to that process. If you have a negative thought process, you're going to consume negativity that enhances that negativity. Mm-hmm. If you're on a positive path, you'll notice the positivity that you choose to be around is different. Like, for instance, for myself, the boundary that I like certain things I don't want to do. Like, for instance, I want to travel more. I want to see different. That's the boundary that I set for myself. I'm not doing certain things for as activity because that's not what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I may have friends that their turn up maybe what I don't know, the normal whatever. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't want to. I look at it like this. In order to set a broad spectrum of boundaries, you got to have a broad mindset, and you got to see beyond what your immediate box is. Right? That's your outline. My outline is just not in Baltimore. My outline is just not a party, are we gonna get fucked up? That's not it. I'm intrigued by if somebody talk about catching a plane to somewhere else that I ain't never heard of. What's that? Mm-hmm. I want to explore that. So my boundary line has expanded as far as I'm not going to limit myself. Right. And I think some people look at boundaries or limitations. Yes, to a degree, but also it's to not limit yourself into a box.
But I feel like it's a good thing I wrote that down. I feel like a lot of people use boundaries to limit how many people they let in. Like, boundaries can also hold like a negative connotation as well for certain people. Mm-hmm. So it's like people will use.
Is that a boundary? Not to cut you off. Is that a boundary or a fear? People misconstrue fears and insecurities with boundaries.
But people will create boundaries off of those fears and insecurities.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. That's when it gets hazy. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
That's when boundaries can be a negative effect on somebody when they're using those things like fear and negativity as a way to create boundaries to shut people out in a way. Mm-hmm. That's when it becomes negative. That's why when I say, yes, I did.
When?
Well, I don't do it as much now, but I did. When? Well, it's been recent I've done it. Like, I would just, like how you said, when my phone dropped to serve, I really don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to y'all. Like, goodbye. No, but No, but honestly, like probably I would say about 2, maybe 3 years ago is when I set boundaries to where I didn't let people in, or I didn't talk about much. So it's like a lot of things that I handled on my own, or I just didn't talk about at all completely, to where it came to a point where it was just like I didn't know what was going on anymore.
Do you think that was just your process of self, or do you think that was just your? Sometimes I don't think
shutting people. I was purposely shutting the world up.
Okay, I hear you. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I do. As a person who always gets told they shut people out, I feel like this. My personal opinion, don't take it for gospel. I feel like everyone is entitled to have a moment to figure shit out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, I had to shut down, I had to do this, okay. Is it for the better? Or are you just like, because you know, when some people shut people out, you just never know. It could be a process.
Yeah.
And not speaking personally, but when we talked about your outline of how you create your boundaries change. Mm-hmm. Sometimes in life we evolve from experiences, situations, things like that. Right. Those situations, those experiences help us to create and enhance our boundaries of what we will and will not accept, what we will and will not allow in our space, our life. And sometimes it's okay to protect your peace. I think that's the difference. When people are like, oh, you acting funny, you acting different. It's because you're protecting your peace and you're not bringing anything conducive to my peacefulness. You're just interrupting it and you're disrupting it. So I feel like sometimes if you have to create that boundary of distance, it's okay.
Oh no, I knew I wasn't doing that.
No. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. I wasn't doing it.
No, I'm just saying some people get that misconstrued too. Yeah. Whereas though, if you don't answer the phone for a week, or for this and then the third, I had some people, they're like, for one, I tell my friends all, they're like, I know you tried to call me. My thing is, if I reach out and you don't call back, I don't feel no type of way, period. So if any of my friends who watching this, don't, and I keep telling y'all, don't apologize to me, please don't. It's not that I don't care. It's just a simple fact of, I get it. I'm not worried about that. I feel like this. If I'm your friend, I'm your friend regardless. Right. I understand. I'm not going to never just not be your friend. If I'm continuously reaching out and you're not, it's because I'm letting you know I'm still here. Exactly. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like, he was acting funny. He was in it. Sometimes people internalize your pain, or they internalize things to be whatever, and that's selfishness. Right. So coming out of that, if you create a boundary that's what you need to do for your peaceful mind to clear your head or to do whatever, that should be respected. That's a boundary line. Right. Don't invade this, don't do this. And sometimes you have to shut people out to gain knowledge yourself. Because some people can misconstrue yourself. Oh, you shouldn't be like that. That's you, boo. Right. Shut up. Let me go on over here, because you're not living.
Right, just stay over there. Just all the way over there.
What's the one thing I always say? You don't know what another person is going through.
Yeah.
People don't look at a situation from the same lens. People don't create the same set of boundaries. Like, I can meet a guy, I can meet a female. Not saying like that, but on a friendship level, whereas though they may not move like me or think like me, but their boundaries may be, we can be like this 1 minute and then like this 2 minutes later. I'm cool with that. Even then you meet some guys, they can be open to a degree, but they can be really guarded because of their past. That's fine too. But my whole thing in that aspect, I'm going to respect your guard and your boundary that this is where you are. Respect my boundary to say, I'm not there. I see where you are and I respect yours, but respect this is where I'm at. If I'm open and you close off to a point, don't fault me for being completely open. And if something else come along that's as open as I am and that's willing to let me in, where you're closing me out, you can't expect for me to cut that off.
Right.
or block that. So that's the thing when it comes to boundaries, you also got to take the good and the bad. And I think when we create boundaries and outlines for ourselves and perseverance? Is that the word? Perseverance. We tend to think people are supposed to accept, acknowledge, and just go with the flow. And it's okay. And they're not supposed to make decisions for their own self. And I think that's the thin line when it comes to boundaries. People think that, oh, you got to respect my boundaries, but your boundaries don't matter. That's not true. Yeah. So I can respect your boundaries all day long. We can be cool, but you also got to respect that my boundaries may extend a little bit more than yours. And that's fine. Right. But you got to understand that some people ain't where you at.
Absolutely.
And then it's just like that. And that's even in friendships, even in some business. Some people may look for that broad spectrum of, okay, I see this far. This person may see this far, but on the backside, it may be other things going on where this person may be like, oh, I passed that backside point, but I'm here now. You got to catch up. You right. I might not catch up in a way where you are. But my boundary is here. Now, if your boundary is a little bit further than what mine is, I respect that. Right. But also respect where I am and where I gotta be. And that's why I say sometimes people get it clouded and have a box of their boundary. And they don't see beyond that box because they're so secluded. And you'll hear me say a lot like, okay, certain things don't bother me because I've probably been there or done that already. You get what I mean? And then some people just get concerned within their own little box of boundaries. They don't want to see outside of it. And that's fine too.
Yeah. I feel like that's me. Like, there's a lot of things that like
it's individually based.
There are a lot of things that wouldn't bother me that a lot of people do. Like I don't get bothered by a lot of things. There are like small things that like irritate me slightly. But there are actually a lot of things that like people do that it don't bother me. But a lot of people just be thinking like something wrong with me.
Do you see me?
I'm seeing you, but what you hiding from?
I was invisible.
You wasn't.
Okay.
It ain't that. A lot of things don't bother me. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Go ahead, speak.
What you trying to say? What you trying to say?
No, I'm respecting your boundaries.
Now I want answers.
So, open up and talk was something that I did want to talk about when it comes to creating boundaries and identifying how to create them. Some people are very closed off.
Yes.
I can be one of them people at times, but I've noticed when I do open up, I've noticed my boundary line expands for certain things, not everything. Certain things I might be more open to hear, but I might not be more open to be flexed, if that makes sense. It's a two-way street, and that's my choice. Right. I think people think of, okay, you set boundaries, you got to compromise. Yes, but it's also choice when it comes to boundaries. And I think you got to respect the people's choice to protect where their comfort is, even if it's not yours. So then you have the decision to continue to deal with it or walk away. In life, we all have choices. We can pick and choose what we choose to deal with. If you choose to deal with certain things that you know you shouldn't, that's on you. Who am I to tell you leave it alone? Right. You got to figure that out. I watch a lot of people go to that. Like, you just sat there and watched them. Yes, I did. Yes. Because if I told you to act stupid, and I ain't got time to be beefing with you because where I'm at, my boundary line is you're not disturbing this over here. I'm gonna let you go on and that's it. But I just think some people at some point go outside the box and explore to develop their outline. Some people don't. Some people get comfortable within a certain realm. So in order to establish those, some people, you ever meet people that really don't know what they like or don't like because they so worried about fitting in. Mm-hmm. So if this looks cool and this lit, this, that, and the third, this what I'm doing. But in actuality, they don't even really know. Mm-hmm. It might suffice for that moment, but it's not long term. Mm-hmm.
A ton of people like that.
So I feel like when you go outside the box and explore things that you might not have ever explored, mm-hmm. you build a new set of boundaries. Like right now, I don't want to do nothing locally. Mm-hmm. I don't. If you hear me talk, when I talk about graduation, my birthday, anything coming up, stuff that I want to do with my friend, anything, I'm like, I want to go on a trip. Yeah, I want to get out of here. I want to catch a flight. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'm thinking outside of the immediate box. And then you have some people that's like, I want to just do it. And it's like the same thing, repetitive. Matter of fact, me and Jay talk about this all the time. It's a whole world out there that people don't explore. Mm-hmm. People go to whatever's popular at the time. Like, I don't want to go to Atlanta. I don't want to go to Miami. I don't want to do that. I can do that. You can book a flight anytime to that. If I hear something that I ain't never heard of, that I want to go. That's the boundary that I set for myself, is to not limit myself.
Like, let me go to Turkey.
Yes. I want to go to the pyramids. I want to do stuff like that. It's like, you just don't. The fuck is that? What you mean? Oh, but you want to go to see the same people that you would have seen people's home? No, I want to see some other people, but different culture that's going to talk some stuff that I don't know, and it's going to put something in front of me that I know I'm not going to eat, but I'm going to probably try because I'm there, and I can say I did it.
You're trying to be cultured.
No, I'm trying to be grown. I'm trying to be diverse. I'm trying to understand that it's a world out here that I want to live, other than the one that's put in front of me, which ain't nothing but people dying and everything. When it's a whole world out here to explore, and we acting like we limited to 100 miles.
I got you. Culture. Understand the culture.
Did you write that down? I'm gonna let you do the rest. Go ahead. Go on. Go on.
What you mean? I'm writing that down. You want to be cultured.
That's mine. That's not yours.
I'm not.
Question.
I'm keeping tabs, man.
Do you think people, okay, so if you didn't have boundaries, or people, you ever had people like, I don't know, it's no boundaries, it's not.
That was a point where I didn't have boundaries.
And what did you think about that? How were you compared to not having boundaries
and then
what's the difference?
Huge difference.
Like what?
I think the main difference is that I don't just accept anything of everybody. Mm-hmm. Like I expect certain things from people. I would say, you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
So, like at one point, like it didn't really matter whether or not like the other person or certain people. It didn't matter whether or not how like I'm trying to say like how they moved around me. Mm-hmm. So like how they carried me or whatever the case may be. But as long as I was checking on them, I knew they were fine. It was okay with me, but I wouldn't get nothing reciprocated back. Mm-hmm. So then that was fine with me back then, you know, because I was just like, I just want everybody to be happy. I wanted to fit in. Mm-hmm. I definitely cared about what everybody thought. So it was less like, let me just pour everything of me out and just let them just do what they want with it. Mm-hmm. But then it got to a point where I was like, all right, this is tiring. And then now it's like half the time I'd be like, I really don't care what you think about. Like, and I don't care what you got to say about it. Because at the end of the day, is what I said and how I feel.
I read something. It's something about what you said. People who I talked to somebody who didn't understand. And that's when we talk about thought. Everybody thinks thought processes is somebody who thinks like you. Mm-hmm. It's not. A person's thought process is their longevity, their future, their goals, their everything is in it, how they make decisions for themselves. Who relies on other people to make decisions, right? So I dealt with somebody like that. It bothered me to my it bothered me to my core. To the point I was like, yo, we just had this conversation. You really gonna tell me what somebody else said? So me being the age that I am, which we're not going to disclose, I was like, what? But they was older than me. So so my whole thing with that was, what do you want to do? I'm not about to sit here and enable. If anything, I'm going to motivate you. I want to be with somebody that motivates me to be better or anything like that. But when it comes to not being able to establish boundaries, you create a realm of people that make decisions for you. And your thought process lacks, whereas though you can't even think and make cognitive decisions for yourself. So I can't deal with nobody like that. And that's the first thing now. After that, who you be talking to? That's how I be. Who you talking to? So if this was a decision, you gotta be like, if you want to say yeah, okay. For instance, this is a scenario. Okay. So let's say I'm talking to somebody and they say, yeah, I want to take a trip, and man, you talking, right? And you say, all right, let's go to let's just say New York. I'm like, okay. And you like, all right, we're gonna go to New York. You start making plans. I gotta go back and ask Jaden. And then I come to you, I remember when you said, oh, Jaden said that's not a good idea, so I don't think we should do that. The fuck?
I'm like, well, you ain't gotta do it, but I'm going.
But just imagine that every time. Or, bang, I think we should do something together. This is then the third. Oh, I forgot. I know I said I was going to do this with you, but so-and-so want me to do X, Y, and Z. So, we're going to have to cancel. But you done already made plans. Thought processes. When you going to make a decision for yourself? Well,
because that's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's what I mean. When people can't create their own self boundaries, or people can't think for themselves, people who don't have boundaries on anything concern me. That's just for me. Anybody listening, don't listen to me. When it comes, don't take me for face value. All I'm saying is from my experience where I am, if you can't make a finalized decision, if what you say is not golden and you need somebody else for confirmation, or somebody say, oh, I don't know why you're going to do that because da-da-da-da-da. 9 times out of 10, that's a miserable person. Another reason why I don't give relationship advice, especially if I'm not dealing with nobody in a relationship. Now, if I'm happy, I'm going to give you all the happy advice ever. The worst person to take advice from is your single friend or your friend that just been hurt. Because she don't be that. Girl, don't believe nothing he say.
Better off without him anyway.
Same way with men. Because your homeboy gonna be on her DM. What? Did I lie?
People don't have no boundaries.
That's the thing. We need to normalize creating boundaries. And that's the problem. And I think that's why we have a lot of the situations that we have.
I was watching a video on TikTok today. Oh my God. And And I liked it because Jude actually kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. But she was saying, like, you know, the newer generation, they are setting boundaries for every and anybody out here. They are doing it and they are with no regrets.
What boundaries you were talking about?
So, like the newer generation, I feel, I don't want to say newer generation, but like my generation and down. For I feel as I feel like my generation and down.
What you said?
I said from my generation and down.
What you said?
My generation.
And then something else.
Down.
No, you said something else.
No.
Oh yeah, don't say that no more.
What are you talking about?
You said for real, for real?
Oh my Lord. Lord have mercy. I don't even remember saying it. That's like part of my language. Like I was saying. The newer generation, I feel like they're really big on their, like, I feel like, right, especially right now, mental health is like a really big thing. So like, especially like the younger generation, they're really big on like setting those boundaries and making sure like people understand like this is what I'm willing to accept and this is what I'm not willing to accept. And if you don't like that, then you need to keep pushing. Like they ain't no joke. Because they will straight up tell you, I'm like, in this situation, don't do this because if you do this, I'm gonna react this way. And if I react this way, then this is what's gonna happen. So at this point, if you don't like that, then we can just be done now.
How is it done?
I don't know how they do it because I'm still trying to learn.
No, I mean the delivery. I mean, to me, and I'm a little old school, dude. I know me, I'm out the mall. My thing is delivery is everything. Definitely. Perception also is everything. Not to say how you receive things and how you deliver things, right? Mm-hmm. So when I say that, we say, oh, yeah, sometimes some things be ignorant, and I be looking like, I don't even want to hear it, depending on how it comes off. But if you come at me logically with a different perspective, I'm more receiving to it. Right. So even when it comes to respecting boundaries, I'm gonna say, or communicating boundaries, I think delivery is everything, but comprehension is a major part as well. Exactly. Everybody can't always comprehend what you delivering, which also goes back into communication, which I've come to realize. I don't care how old you is or how old you are, for those who speak proper, don't always comprehend what boundaries mean and don't understand. So then if you can't comprehend the words that I'm saying to you, right, I need to leave you alone. Exactly. No matter what the relationship is. And that's even in professional, because sometimes you can deliver something very professionally and with supporting details, and they still be like, well, I specifically didn't, and then we back to square one. I don't like to go back to square one. Nobody likes to go back. I don't like to go backwards, which is why I've learned also what my boundaries are is once I'm done with people, I'm done. I don't care what the relationship is. If it ended for a reason. I don't recycle. That's like going back. So my boundary line is if we done. Something real quick because it just crossed. Go ahead, you got like 5 minutes. My mind just went boop, boop, boop. Okay, so let's talk about boundaries. So we talked about within like friendships, but we didn't bring up like dealing with like somebody that your friend has dealt with, who, whether it was ex or talking or anything like that. Limits. I know within my friend group, they're off limits. It's a no-go. I wish a friend of mine would. Like, who you talking about? I was talking about who, but it just had crossed my mind. Like, I don't know how to answer that. This is where I'm gonna respect the boundary of not answering because my friends already know I would beat their ass. I wouldn't go that far. I'm not. It's a rule. If you feel like that's what you want in life, and I'm just like. If you go after somebody I dealt with, you was looking at them while I was with them. That's how I feel.
Right.
The same way nobody that dealt with a friend of mine is attracted to me.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Heard.
I've even dealt with people for years.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even, if I didn't see that friend all the time, I couldn't, who, your friend said they seen me? Just imagine how many times my homeboy said they saw you. Who, where was that?
Right. I used to
know. Oh, that's where I was? I don't look at you like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at you. You're my focus. Not that I'm trying to see what you got going on.
Right.
Not these people. So if you focus on and that's another reason why I have a boundary. I don't share too much of my relationship because people start wanting what you got.
Why you look me up and down? First of all,
I'm schooling you.
You've been doing that a lot today.
I'm looking at you. I'm not going. I'm gonna look over here.
But yeah, that had just crossed my head, and I was just like, we need to speak on that real quick. I don't know about some people. Some people they like.
I'm old school. Let me just say this.
Over here, we'll do that.
I'm old school to the point of I don't deal with my friends or my ex's friends, and that to any person who I consider a friend. If you look at a ex of mine or anything like that, please know. I'll tell you off camera. Rachel's we done. Thank you for joining. See y'all next week.